Мир вам, братья и сестры. Those are probably the easiest words for me to say in Russian. The most likable words by me, but I try my best. This fine evening, it's only by the grace of God that we are here. And being here, I have something prepared for each and one of us. And I gotta start off with a simple question and ask something. Has anyone started something, went off, and saw that it wasn't turning out as planned, as expected, and try to find a different way, an alternative, and just stopped, gave up, and went back? It's a very interesting question. And having said that, the title or the subject of my sermon this evening would be, "And He Went All the Way." Very pretty words, and He went all the way. Most people ask and say, the Old Testament, is it necessary? Well, just preach and teach the New Testament, and that'll be sufficient. But the Old Testament is full of accounts, full of stories, and full of examples that we can live by and we can see, and even is full of prophecies. And one thing, and one story that I see, and I can see examples of Jesus, is in the story and the life of Joseph. So having said that, let us open to Genesis chapter 37, verses 3 through 4. Genesis 37, 3 to 4. Now Israel loved Joseph more than all his children, because he was the son of his old age, and he made him a coat of many colors. And when his brethren saw that their father loved him more than all his brethren, they hated him and could not speak peaceably unto him. Right off the start, we see that Joseph is in a family, and family is very important to me and you. Joseph is in a family, and we see that this family is torn apart. It is fractured, and by what? Hatred and envy. We see that his brothers hated Joseph. Having read verse 4, it says, they hated him and could not speak peaceably unto him. They hate him so much they can't say a kind word. Having a thought, or if I would be in their place, I would ask one of their brothers, how much do you hate your brother Joseph? And they would say, I hate him so much I can't say one kind word to him. And later in verse 5, we see that it says they hate him yet even more. Even more than what? Than verse 4, right? I dislike him, I hate him, I can't say one kind word, but guess what? I hate him even more than that. How much hatred, and hatred is very, very harmful. We are born in a family. I'm in a family, you are in a family, and with that being said, I can say that the church, we as a church, are a big family. Now the question stands is there hatred or envy between us? Jesus simply says, love one another. Love one another. Is there a hatred in your heart? Is there envy in your heart? Well, brothers and sister, I would say that do not find a comfortable home in your heart for envy and hatred. Find love. Take everything that is all of bitterness and all sorrow from your heart and replace it with love. We've forgotten the importance of a home that's full of love, that's full of compassion, that's full of empathy and affection. Brothers and sisters, we see that there is hatred. He grows up in a home where people dislike him, where his own brothers treat him like, he's the youngest brother. I've grown up in a family with a big family. I have a lot of sisters. He had a lot of brothers. I have a lot of sisters. That's something different. But anyways, I grow up in a home with a lot of siblings, and I have a brother at the end. And we see that here in the scripture it says they hated him because of what he said. I have a brother or a sister that's growing up, and they say certain things, and I look at them, hey, you're not supposed to say that, and they, be quiet. They stay there for a second. They look, you know what, you're right. And they see examples from us, but sometimes they have better examples than we, older people, have. And sometimes you look at them and say, why are they not listening? I bet I was a better kid than they were. And my parents would be there smirking at me and saying, yeah, you were a better kid, for sure. No, we're all born with sinful sin, and we're in a sinful world, but we have something very special for us. Jesus came. Going on, we see this picture. There's hatred in this family. And you can ask yourself, well, how do you show love? How do you see a family full of love? Well, let me tell you, brothers and sisters, it's husbands. Love your wives. Seek what nourishes them. Seek what makes them happy. Rewind the clock if you have to. There's also, it says, wives, honor your husbands. Comfort, support them, encourage them, pray for them. Let's not forget about children. Obey your parents in the Lord. That is a loving family. We see the difference between a family full of hate and a family full of love. And we go on, and we talked about love, but my main point is not that. What's very important is in verse 13. And Israel said unto Joseph, do not thy brethren feed flock in Shechem? Come, and I will send thee unto them. And he said, here I am. What a beautiful picture. Here I am. If a parent calls your name, what do you say? What do you want? What do you want? What? No, here I am. You call me. What do you ask me to do? Here I am. Beautiful picture. You know what Jesus said? I will go. Jacob called Joseph and says, go. And Joseph said, here I am, and I will go. Jesus said, here I am, and I will go. Joseph was in Hebron. And what is Hebron? It's a place of fellowship and a communion. Jesus was in a perfect place, a perfect fellowship, in a communion with the Father, but he left that place to go check, to go help, to make a difference in mine and your life. Joseph left home, left Hebron to go to Shechem. And what is Shechem? It means neck between two shoulders. Interesting, right? It's a high point where rivers would flow to the Mediterranean or the Jordan River. And we see that high point or that neck is a resemblance of taking a yoke or a burden. Taking a burden and walking. Joseph went to Shechem, a place where he found a comfortable spot, left that place, and went to Shechem. Jesus left his perfect place to come here on earth, and here he took upon our burdens, our yokes, and our heavy load. Very important. And it's very important to see that Joseph not only went to Shechem, he saw that his brothers weren't there. It would have been easy for him to just turn back and say, you know, Father, our brothers weren't there. Well, they weren't there. I'm sure they're fine. But, you know, they weren't there. I just came back easy. But no, Joseph went further on. Imagine a 17-year-old walking to Shechem, which is about 24 miles from Hebron, and then walking to Dothan, which is 50 more miles. 74 miles Joseph walked for his brethren, for his brothers. And you can imagine him calling each of them by name, saying, Reuben, Simeon, Gad, where are you? And he called them each by name while walking. Jesus did the same thing. What would you think if Jesus came to earth and said, you know, I don't want to drink of that cup. I don't want to do the Father's will. And, you know, it'd be easy not to die for sins, not to take the punishment. But yet he did. He came, took our burdens, and went all the way to the cross. Jesus was a perfect man. He had no sin. What did Jesus do for you? He didn't go halfway and tell you to meet him halfway there. He didn't pay half a price and tell you to pay the rest of the price. He didn't love you partially and tell you to match his love. He loved you completely. And he left that place of comfort and came here to die for me and you. Joseph did the right thing. He went on. He went on and did not turn back. Jesus is righteous and holy. Joseph was obedient, and Jesus was obedient to the cross, even the death of the cross. Joseph was not like his brothers, and there will never be anyone like Jesus. Joseph told the truth, and Jesus is the truth. Joseph sought his brethren, and Jesus seeks you. He calls each and one of us by name. We see that in his family there was hatred. There was no love. Maybe Jacob loved Joseph, but the whole family was not based upon that love. There was no love. There was a lack of love, but yet Jesus had the best love. Is there love in our church, in our families? Have that same love Jesus had, because Jesus took it all the way. Didn't go halfway, didn't go a quarter or maybe 3/4 of the way, but went full on to the cross, that you and I may be saved. Let us therefore this night thank God that he is present, that he's a God that is yesterday, today, and forever, that he's a God that gives us breath, life, that he seeks me and you personally, that he calls our name, that he wants to know about us, that he wants to seek me and you. It's very important. And I hope that this message touched your heart, that it worked, and that the Lord does his plan in us. Let us take a moment in prayer and thank God for everything he's done.